Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. So I've got a mystery. The other day, I'd swear I got this thing to open up, and now it's loading a random page on a random server, which is very weird. Also, this address is wrong. Why is this address wrong? That's what's really got me confused. VirtualBox. Is Mongoose running in a VirtualBox? Is Ming running in a VirtualBox? It must be looking at this and just picking some random address. So maybe this is working, it's just opening the wrong page. Now, why? So because it's not running currently, it's actually going out to the internet, I guess? It's like I'm finding this random, very random page. And Captain Poppin. All right, so now that the server is running, we actually need to go to, well, it doesn't tell me what port it is. Let's hope that's the right port. How about my actual IP address? Well, how about localhost? Okay, so it is 8080, but it is not serving, and I know I did this the other day. I actually did get this to work the other day. So do we need to do that? And it opens the wrong IP. No, we're back in my bin directory. Funny thing is, I'm not even sure if I really need this today. Maybe because we're on Windows, we need to do that. No. All right. Maybe Mongoose is the wrong answer. Yeah, I know you can do it with most, like, Ruby has like a one-liner, Python has a one-liner. I probably got Python in here somewhere. We've probably got Node in here somewhere. So this would have to be install -g. Oh, it's going on all the interfaces. Okay. Okay, so why didn't you actually load something? All right, because I just looked directly at index. Did I not set you up? Actually, on a init, maybe not. Oh, right, I set this up as a thing I could use as a viewer. And what modifier was it? Well, this is more path than I need. Excuse me, no. No, 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 no. How do you even? I guess because it has spaces in it. which is where I did the interim. I forget which of these we wanted. Okay. Really? You're still doing a search? Oh, no, it had to be a full URL, but still. Why? Oh, because it probably because of the quotes. Nope, it had to be a full URL. Still, I'm really, really, really annoyed that it's going to search mode. Which means that my encode has to include that. Maybe it is supposed to be component. Which maybe means it wasn't encoding some character. That was making the search thing go mad. Did Firefox update? What the heck? Maybe I have to do that and this. Is pound not viable? Or maybe it has to be at least a slash. All right, and this needs to be 8080. That's where I didn't have as much trouble. Well, that was pointing at possible GitHub URLs in the other case. And then when you set that, okay. So that's at least back to where we were before. Although I still haven't solved this alignment problem. No, okay, so I still haven't solved the resize problem. Which may or may not be relevant to what I'm trying to do. All right, so what we want to do, or the idea I had, was that could we actually convert this to SVG and package it up? Pan zoom is something. It's actually more than, well, the graph viz is wrapping a much larger backend thing. Right, so if we've got, assume we have a server that produces these. Oh no, the data files. I had this command that did edit and one annoying thing about the command line version of dot is that it doesn't really take a directory argument. Oh, did that work? Yeah, it produces SVGs a lot faster than bitmaps. Okay, so that's a file. If we have our index, we can have a so we just need that. This is going to be don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. I might end up doing the icon stuff, we'll see. And how do I get these? Yeah, there's still a few hundred. So I don't know if any of these are going to be a problem. And Anna the Brown Bear, thank you for the follow. Or maybe I should wrap a thing around this. So I can continue, get not a pen child. Oh, but no, we're applying to element. Well, actually, there's only going to be one SVG. Well, unless I do this thing. So if I do document.getElementById graph, can I then? No. Isn't there? I thought there was a selector thing that was in more modern browsers. Get element, get selection, no. I mean, there's tag name. Which is a collection. But I really only want the children of body. If I did do some little branding stuff on here. Or I'd have to go in here and edit this to put like ID equals graph. Because then I could do that. And then you... Well, that was a pain to make. And actually, really, I'd love to have this working as just a straight up file. Except I wasn't watching my file location. Okay, so that actually works to wrap that up. And then can we embed that? Well, which is all one ugly line. No, it seems we cannot. Oh. So we cut too much stuff off. Okay, so that is a single document. Oh, I had a style sheet. I don't think there's anything that's relevant to this. Oh, well, okay, there is. Now you're just style, right? Okay. Okay. Right. Oh, because I don't even have a graph here. Well, I modified that. Okay, so that is now. I think to stick this together, I essentially have to have and I don't know if the file extension is quite proper here. I guess the other thing would be to do a template that you replace a piece in. Oh, and yeah, I'm gonna leave this out for now. Well, I know how to concat files as a simple command line thing. Or I actually do something in the Ruby that just grabs the wrapper file and replaces a piece in it. So then that would be and it gets very confused easily. And I might have to put that someplace more accessible. Okay, I got my cache in here now. It's quite large. Where are we? So would that be, well, if we do it as, so right now we've got graph output. Now graph is, okay, graph is mine. Now graph. Graph returns a graph viz. So how would something that was functioning like a library get access to a template file? I guess we could get the current directory of the file, use that to do a file load. Yep. And we've got our data cache. Let's live in here and then go down to specific things. And then output is the GraphViz library, which actually outputs it to a file. Actually, this is like GraphViz R. GraphViz underscore R. Yep. Okay, no, that's not what I'm looking for. No, you didn't rearrange my search. Nope, it does not accept underscore as a thing. Maybe it's still on Ruby Gems. I mean, it hasn't been updated in a long time. Yeah. Might just have to look at the source to see what the output methods are. Where is that? And you do not like high contrast. Not you. Generates. Format as dot, a dot string is generated. Oh, so it's got the things to produce the SVG directly. So if we... Oh. Well, so we wanted a string to see if we can do some stuff with it. All right, that was used in the naming before. So this is actually just going to print them. Wait, what? Oh, it returns an object? Dots otherwise generates the image file. To a given file. So dot I understand. You know what, I probably don't have P open on Windows. Which means we would have to have an intermediate file. And then package it up. So if we're going to process that, well, we could produce it directly as SVG, it appears. Well, except we already had these files from manually converting them, so you can't tell. Oh, wait, am I not selecting anything because it's been too many days? Oh, yeah, put this back to 1 day. That would tend to be a little bit of a problem. So let's try data. Undefined method close for nil. So yeah, it appears to be not viable. Okay, so if we tell it to output that, it's doing the same. Oh, image is calling data. Which we've already proven does not seem to work on Windows. So we have to output GraphViz. Then we need to do... And I don't have it in path. In all likelihood. So that becomes a very, very super specific thing. Oh, you know what? You're probably trying, this has probably got the same path problem. So for this to work, you'd have to guarantee that dot is in the path. Which is annoying because sometimes path requires like restarting and stuff. Well, we're operating through files anyway. Man, I thought this would be a way easy. I thought it'd be an easy way to get an SVG viewer. I need to convert it to SVG, then I need to wrap it up. How easy would it be? Well, if we're relying on environment, I mean, I guess I could just try to fix my environment. Oh, that's going to ensure it might have even failed. Oh, does this even pick up system path? Maybe it does the appropriate conversions on it? That's pretty complete, so I guess so. Uh, oh, this has to... Okay, so this doesn't need the backspaces. Now the question is that even going to pick up if we do a new console? Command not found. Yes, I'm basically going to have to restart to do that. What is... What is the path update syntax? PowerShell. Whether you want it to be end or beginning. And we have sort of. Okay, so, and you are failing. Okay, so the only issue here was we didn't have dot in the path, so that kind of puts a little system dependence on it. But we can get SVG. And we can... What if we did? And we'll start here. No, it's buffer. So that was in lib. And for this to work, I just need something to replace. Fine, shut up. Which means we don't use this either. We only do this once. I probably should wrap this up somehow, but now file.read. Wrapper.replace. Does replace make a new string or change the string in situ? Or is it even replace, or is it gsub? With the corresponding values. Doesn't really say. Oh, just an outright replace. Okay, so that is the wrong thing. Oh, right, because there's gsub that returns a copy, and there's gsub bang that does it in place. Actually, we only need to do this once. And then now, is there a really? There, that's more like it. Is there an equivalent of read to just dump contents out? Do you even document read? Okay, did not complain about the file.read. Maybe parent IO. Read, write, write name, seeks to the given is the right string. And then output. Why? Provided selector is not an HTML object nor string. Oh, because I was still using get element by ID when I have not done anything to actually supply that ID into the graph. I know there was a function that got added as sort of a way to support jQuery-like syntax. No. Query selector, not the thing, not the first thing you would think of, name-wise. As long as we don't add any other SVGs, we can do that. Oh, it only fixes this one thing. I need to fix... Okay, now that seems to work. Now I did just think of one thing. These all come out with white backgrounds. And then following on from the fact that we constantly see these issues with other sites, and this is where having it in separate files would have some utility. But this makes artifacts that we can just spit out and open anywhere. Now the SVG is significantly larger than the graph is, which I guess... So that's about our 60 kilobyte overhead. And then the SVGs are much larger. So yeah, having something that just picks up the, well, but it takes us like a 1 megabyte rendering engine to do it in the browser. At least that's reusable. All right, so see, that gives us that. I don't think I need you or you. Oh, this must be a different window. Okay, so now how do we wrap this up? So this was, we did graph viz, we did output. Can I get graph? So there's graph. Graph lives. So HTML is going to need the file name. Graph lives. But then this has to be able to load. Buffer. Now, this can't just be pick up anything. This is where I need to remember. Is it file? Let's see. Path to current Ruby file. No, well, I know it's file. Current working directories. What does file mean? Requires endure. Okay, dir name. So we need file.dir name of file. And I might need the slash. So we go output. Yes, unused variable. No such file or directory. Oh, I moved it. So it's actually you complaining. Okay. So the dot's probably still some utility. And generally, what did I do with index? Oh, I was editing the wrong file. Although, this probably needs the background as much as the other one. Oh, dot get ignore star.gv. Probably, and we need to do output star.html. Let's see. Package graphs as HTML. Alright, so that's one bit down. Or that at least gives me something that's somewhat shareable if a bit larger. Now, we were working on this thing, which is designed more for a back-end application. That could generate data for us. The trick to that is actually going to be database management. Because what we'd really want to say is I want to search for a certain person or a certain family. Right, okay, so we're going to be changing topic a little bit. So what are we doing? We are let's see, we're thinking about data management, I guess. So we've got a tree. So we get text files. I haven't looked at the curse logs lately. Whole bunches of text files. That was like day one. So we've got the data that we build stuff out of, which we've got the parsers for in the main code, but like the recent lives uses that. Well, is it lifelog? History, which takes a time range and uses that to sort of convert back to this stuff to figure out which files it might need to load to get that family. And then you've got names. So one of the things I'm going to need is I'm going to need a name to player mapping. Now, there's a lot of complexities here. We've got multiple servers, so each of those is its completely own namespace. Also, the servers sometimes have ID sequence resets. So you kind of have to watch out for those. So we're going to have some sort of like epoch. And I guess you could probably, like, if you start get this coming up with your own epoch IDs, you could sort of have that imply the server number as well as the generation. But in theory, you could sort of like consistently regenerate epochs, giving you're processing the entire data set. So right now I've been parsing these into objects useful for runtime handling of the data directly from the text files. If we're going to try and make a web service for this, I'm probably going to want to have it all in a database for the actual queries. So if it were continuing to process locally, and it might be worth doing that as a bootstrapping exercise, we could just use like SQLite or something. Now, if I want to try and put this in some sort of low-cost cloud environment, we need to know what kind of data stores are available. Database migrations. I mean, that's sort of serverless. Yeah, so one of the problems with Amazon is they've got so many services, it's hard to figure out what even is out there. DynamoDB. Each time a table is updated. That seems event source based. Just large amounts of data in real time. Well, it doesn't really sound like what we're doing. I mean, unless I just produced the tree for every family all the time. Data stores. NoSQL database. That NoSQL tends to be key value, which I'm not really sure is what we want here. On-demand Amazon Aurora, MySQL compatible. Is that it? Now, I guess one possibility is that we process stuff every time we get logs and then just sort of allocate, well, could allocate names to family trees and pre-process the family trees. You'd have to be kind of continually reprocessing things to look for like really long lines. That's MySQL compatible. And they're previewing Postgres compatible. Rate charges. Scales to 4 ACUs. Admittedly, some of this is a high volume application. That seems kind of scary for 24 hours even. 80 gigabytes of storage. Gigabyte a month isn't so bad. Responsive games, huh? That would seem to require some kind of cross-reference capability. Key value document database. Vote application. Save comment, find comments, find comment. DB comment table, DB post table, the forum table. Oh, it's supposed to be voting on posts. That's a lot of little bits. And looks like we've got a lambda functions in Java, huh? Alright, well this is a bit big to be browsing on the web. Um, I was hoping for a simple example. All right. Log for j. DynamoD post repository. Well, that's a lot of stuff. Expression. Forum ID. Expression attribute value. Saving to latest post. I'm actually not sure the example is very helpful here. It's going to be any easier in this environment. Time to complete 120 minutes. Could I just read it? Table item collection of data records. Row in a relational database. Non-relational database. Okay, yeah, so it's basically well, that's kind of what I got going on here. This is already history. It uses lifelog, so we tend to build up. Well, lifelog is the individual entries. So we tend to build up essentially a hash table of people. Now, we end up doing in-memory lookups, which aren't as scary as going back to the database every time we need to trace something. Then again, unless we're doing like a graph database, it's going to be kind of ugly no matter what. Or you have to load in a whole lot of stuff at once. So right now, my process gets things done reasonably fast, barely considering the past couple of days, and assuming that no line will live longer than that. For lookup, we're going to need a name index that can tell you something about that character so you can determine if it's the right one. We're going to have to match those up. Well, we're probably going to, if there's a epoch reset, we may have to handle that in the name log as well. So we're going to have a load process to properly handle epochs. We're going to need to assign epochs to that, match that between the names. I think we're really only going to care about lives for this, although that creates the burden of having to go back and update those lives as we get death records for them and whatnot. And then if we try to take a character and look up a family tree for it, it's just going to be a succession of, well, what I tended to do with the in-memory program was just go straight to the root and then successfully query down looking for somebody whose parent is in the set. Perhaps you could even break it out at each pass and we can do a generations thing, which would be a number of queries based on the number of generations in the line, essentially. So seeking a parent wouldn't be too bad in key value because you could just go pick the key, get the key, get the key, get the key, get the key. Finding anyone whose parent is in a certain set is much more of a SQL style operation. Which puts us back to this thing, which seems like it can get surprisingly expensive on the runtime. That was for a bigger application, to be fair. Now, I might be able to prototype this just on... Well, there's probably going to be enough data here that the database would actually cost something on Heroku. So if I go for... Well, it depends on how I interface the database. A active record style interface would paste over a lot of the database differences. Or some other database adapter, I guess, could paste over a lot of it. And then swapping out MySQL for Postgres style wouldn't be a big deal. Right, so we were looking at how do you do things, lambda functions, so it's got a post, well, okay, so comment post, how about, there's no mention of comments in here. So in a key value store type situation, how are they getting all of the comments? Handlers, find comment. Maybe find comment accepts a post ID to find request get post ID. comment repo, find comment. Find comments by post ID. Query expression. Okay, I started doing some fancy pants stuff there. But presumably it's possible to search things by some attribute. So what might this look like? List tables, response.data. Table name key. Okay, so get item by key, get query. But you'd still have to understand how this works. And this is, yeah, table get item. Okay, so that's just a little bit different level of abstraction. Secondary indexes. Key condition expression. Key author equal. So for that, we'd have to understand the query syntax. Post. Convert it to JSON. So we need to find the actual lower level. So this is not documentation specific to this. Developer guide. Oh, you can run it locally. Okay. Oh, they're using a different SDK though. And so this one is more along the line of we have methods for every operation. Yeah, there's the get item. Query. table name key condition expression. So this would get into actual yeah, SDK. Oh, they're using Java to make a hash map. Artist, song title, get item request. Okay, so yeah, this is more what we're seeing with the other Ruby API. Okay, so it's doing map list string. Hmm. So I could run it locally so that I don't necessarily have to be doing the cloud stuff all the time. I might be able to have some sort of abstraction interface so that I could swap out a back end as needed. You'd basically have to treat things as particular kinds of queries. Or you'd have to have the interface based around the queries you make. Like get parent, get children. Mm, I think anything you do, well, yeah, I've been hung up on this thing for a long time because like anything you do is going to be kind of messy. So this in-memory stuff we've built up has been very loose with the data and how we deal with things. Just trying to get some results. Just load the data, get some results. I might be able to turn that into something that could be used to write out life records. Assuming well, I guess we would have either a relational style database, or you just dump a one record per life into a key value type store. One thing I'd have to work on is better keys, because right now it is player ID. So maybe I need to work on even just in memory, which is a little bit more of a key value store, I guess. Figuring out how do we determine keys that are unique per server and per epoch. Well, a relational database could technically handle that. You just have to query for multiple keys, multiple parts. A key value store would need you to develop a compound key that could actually be unique among all these things. But what I've got right now is a big hash table of lives. So that's the kind of thing I would need with my current structure in order to do long history style things. Alright, so maybe we need to solve some of those problems. Think about how we can turn this into something that can spit out records to be put into some sort of database. And then see if, I mean, we could just do SQLite or something. Just have some persistent thing. And then worry about whether we can make it cost efficient. I think I might put that off until, well, let's see, next time, which if I continue doing one life on Saturday, I'm out Friday, would end up being Monday. Yeah, I just been avoiding this whole thing because it just seems like such a mess to get this into something I can hook up to a web app. But there is some stuff, other stuff I'd like to maybe try and do this afternoon, and then come out and try some Subnautica stuff later. So yeah, I got that packaged. I got the trees packaged up. Those are really only good for recent stuff because I don't deal with the epochs yet. But I do have some other stuff in my mind right now I'd kind of like to take care of. So I think I'm going to break it now and then dive into the epochs and such next time. So that's it for now. Not super exciting, but you just have to do these research on projects. And yeah, converting to these cloud databases is, I think, about as hard as, well, to some extent I should just sit down and do it. But they don't have necessarily clear guidance on which one you would choose for what. Anyway. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hosting. Oh, and a follow. Alright, so that's my rough schedule. I am starting to take Tuesdays and Thursdays out for the time being. What do we got? Looks like Programming Tutor's back. I mean, well, that's the stream title. Name is like 03F001. Looks like he might be doing some game dev at this point. But he's generally available to help people out with whatever, and then he works on his own projects in the meantime. So if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.